Did you write the drawing? Okay. So really we're looking at Tafkuf and Gimel, finishing Tafkuf and Gimel, starting ready the sugya of Tircha. Tircha b'moed is one of the sugyas HaMoed b'chol HaMoed. Tircha b'tzarech HaMoed, Tircha shlo tzarech HaMoed. Matzinu b'zech kulas yaseirus, chumris yaseirus. So I was malaki basically all the different sifim in Shulchan Aruch that are negayed to this din. That's not what I'm speaking about now, but everyone's trying to see all those halachas and we're trying to formulate some kind of klal, even though the Gemara already tells us that Chol Moed HaKuris. We're trying to formulate a klal when and where achana and tircha l'tzarech u'befrat shelo l'tzarech HaMoed is mutter. And that in some form they think that some of the isuri hachana that we find by Shabbos and Yontif, like making the beds or washing the dishes, which is the din in Shabbos and Yontif of adachas kelim, hatzos amitas, Gemara and Shabbos Kufri Gimel. So ad kedei kach, some svarim are maflik to think that even that might be also in Chol Moed. If you're going away for the last days, and Chol Moed, could you wash your dishes, could you make your beds? Or even that it's shaloi l'tzarech HaMoed. I was with Tzayin on the sheets over there, like a Yosher from the town of Trum Sadeshem. So also there's some chumras over there. So we have to really mevar this Indian. Because in Idach Chisa we find many things, there's many makars that Stam Tircha Ba'alma is mutter, Sai l'tzarech HaMoed, Sai shlo l'tzarech HaMoed. We have to mevar that Indian. And it's a very chashuv thing that's really not in one place. There's like 10 different mechabers to go through, but it's a big toyelis to try to clarify that Indian. So we'll spend a few days on that, and eventually we'll make our way on to Kibos and Giluach. Okay, but Al Kopanim. So we're holding now Tafkuf and Gimel, which is the din of Mir La'akum. So the din of Mir La'akum is pretty straightforward, that there's an Isser Mir La'akum and Chol Moed. Whatever's Asr for you is Asr for a guy. The Maisa, the Magen Avraham is already Pesach Shar for Kama Darki Kula Chol Moed, by telling us that really every Amir La'akum and Chol Moed is a Shus T'Shus. That's Pachas Yosef, what the Magen Avraham is saying. That's why he says L'tzarech Mitzvah, we find the heter of Shus T'Shus, L'tzarech Mitzvah. The emes is Kayadua. If you ever learn the sugya of Amir La'akum, so the point is Shus T'Shus L'tzarech Mitzvah is one very nice dogma of the kula of Shus. But regular that you're talking about a Shus T'Shus of Amir La'akum specifically, so that's really Pesach Shar with many kulas, Makom Hefsid, Makom Tzarech Gadol, Makom Mitzvah, Mitzvah Derabim. So that's potentially a very big heter for a lot of different things. Like Lamashal, I came across something that struck me as funny. But Charetz Tak Emes in this farm, they say that we had a whole discussion about cars and Chol Moed, fixing your car. From Tafkuf Lamed Vav, is it heter rechiva? Is it a heter gomer? Even for a Maisa Uman and Tirchi Yaseira? Or no, it's only like the regular klal, only Maisa Hedyot, which would make it very difficult unless you have a Tzarchi Rab, like a boss or something, for a Hedyot. So he brings over there. So what about? So let's say you want to be machmer at that channel. You want to hold it. You can't. You want to paskin and be machmer. I'm not going to fix my car with a ma'asuma. It needs a new thing. It needs a ma'asuma. You're not going to take it to the. Could you give it to a guy? So l'chayr will say no. It's Amir La'akum. So first of all, the etzem zach is the shus. Befra that we already cleared, depending on the type of the nature of the tikkun. Is it really clearly a ma'asuma and ma'aseh hedyot? Depending on what exactly they're fixing. So if it's a tzad ma'aseh hedyot and you just want to be machmer for a year, there's always no makom l'hakel for a guy. But if it's already a shus, even if it's not a makom mitzvah, so l'chayr yesh ladon. If it's tzarech gadol, or you have to learn shin zayin tzefei, that's really the Makar and Shulchan Aruch. We handle this question of what exactly, which tzarachim is al pi Rambam, which tzarachim shus matters. So l'mashal, one of these farm they bring that, but if you're using your car to go visit your grandmother, so it's tzarech mitzvah. They're just kind of plugging in the Magen Avraham. I don't know why you have to come on. I hear. I guess it is tzarech mitzvah. I'm not sure, but you don't need to come on to visiting your grandmother. So we were discussing what about going on a tiyul and Chol Moed for Simchas Haregel. It's a big simcha to take your kids and you're taking them on a big trip, and it's a big simcha of Chol Moed. So is that also tzarech mitzvah? So I'm not sure if that's a bona fide and emesa tzarech mitzvah, which would matter, and you have to check over there. But l'kal pachos, it's a tzad of a tzarech gadol, a person who has a car and gets stuck without a car. And we know that there's stadei kula, and this is b'chlal, a big klal in the Amir La'akum, even by Shabbos and Yontif, that if there's a tzad l'hakol be'emes, and you're going to be machmer al day Yisrael, there's more makom obviously to be make al day goy. And so it's something to keep in mind. And so what we're going to hopefully get to, if we have the time, is lagabe the question of pragmatio and mekachumemker, and that's bismanedu as opposed to bisman chazal, where all the pragmatio and the things that chazal were describing was a bal avoda going to work. Schiras Poilam. The guy is going to work to, sew the thread or chop down the wood. Could he make money for that? So says Shulchan Aruch, very straightforward things. You're not allowed to go to work to do malacha, even if it's malacha mutaris, but you can't take money for that. Schayra. So Chazal at the beginning of Taf Klam Test speak about a guy himself who has schayras and he's buying and selling schayras. Or stop buying and selling shalot tzarech HaMoed. What happens with Zmanenu is that B'derech Klal, there is such a muska, yes, there are people who buy and sell on their own, but the B'derech Klal, the way modern commerce and economies work, is that a person who has a business, very often he's not doing any malacha per se. He usually has a manager and he has a lot of people working under him. And it becomes a question of a lot of Amir Lakum and a lot of, also a question of kabbalanus, depending on the nature of your work. If you're whether you're being Isaac in a building or something and you have a guy who really runs everything, you hired him by kabbalanus and he hires other workers, or even a business that's basically that you own and obviously you oversee, but you have a manager doing everything. So usually in a store, a manager is a schir yoyim, not a kabbalan. So if there's a heter of kabbalanus, we feed the pratim of kabbalanus, which means that it's not nicker, that it's yisrael, it's meleches talush, that would be one heter. But very often we have a lot of these shaylas, bein if you're running a business selling things, or bein if you're buying things, it's a very gray area. Some people have mamish a very klar davar of it. You don't go to work, you get fired, so you go to work. But what if you could take off? This is a question. You have an opportunity to buy something, to sell something like that, where it's a gray area. So then, obviously, we have to take into cheshbon the fact that there's manenu. Very often, the way things are being run, whether it's a corporation, we were discussing yesterday the question of a corporation. If a corporation runs the business and it's owned by me, and the goyim are being paid by the corporation, is a b'chal, an issue for a yid who runs that business but legally doesn't own it. So these are all things we have to understand. And b'chlal, so this got us a little bit back into the question b'chlal of pragmatia and mekach and buying and selling in Chol Moed, which we discussed b'shaitu when we learned Taf Kuf Tes. But so it's very, very shachiach, this shayla, obviously, all different questions of shopping and buying, and me'idach kisa, a person has a store, or different Isaac and Cholmine parnasas leminehem that are involved with sales, whether internet sales, e-commerce, or owning a store, or owning a reshut of stores, v'chule v'chule. And so, the Maisa, it's chashuv to get the pratim straight, to get a klar, what's mutter, what's aser, and what's taka not klar if it's mutter aser, which is most things, and what we can make al yidei Yisrael, what we can make al yidei goy. So, the Maisa is and hopefully we'll get back to shlikol emir la'akum, asay. So the Gemara tells us, we know, and that's the beginning of Taf Kuf Lamed Tes. When you learn Taf Kuf Lamed Tes, so if you read through Taf Kuf Lamed Tes, it kind of puts the whole thing together, which is that there's an issur to buy and sell things in Chol Moed. You're not let us stop buy and sell things. It's part of what Chazal asked, even though there's no daber davar and there's no chash ksiva, even though lefi some achreinim that's who for the issur of mekach memker b'moed because of chash ksiva. But kipshutai, like most Rishonim say, the issur mekach memker is all business related buying and selling is because it's zilzal to my tircha, what the Rishonim call tircha, which means to be Isaac in your parnasa and your pragmatia. That's not what Chazal wanted. Chol Moed. So Chazal asked him b'derabanan to go be Isaac in Torah in Lo Nitnu Mayadim El Lasik in Torah, and not to be Isaac in your parnasa. So in Taf Kuf Tes it all gets put together, meaning being the issue of running a business and buying and selling schayra pragmatia, and being the issue of buying and selling stam. Go to the store and buy detergent shalot tzarech HaMoed because you're not using detergent in Chol Moed. So everything seems to be put together, and all that is usher. Or selling something shalot tzarech HaMoed. Someone comes and he wants to buy your spare car. He needs it for lach HaMoed to sell something shalot tzarech HaMoed, or you have no need to sell the car for Chol Moed. So that all seems to get put together with the din of pragmatic. Because again, the pragmatic Chazal we're referring to wasn't going to work and running your business. It was like the Mechaber says, Kol pragmati asura. Afilu kolshu, bein liknois, bein limkar. The schayr, they're talking about a guy, basically a wholesaler, who bought and sold schayrs. And that's when the shiara came along, he had a lucrative deal. It's considered a davar, because the opportunity to buy a big shipload of chveisla, something cheap, and then go sell on to the next thing. So that was the Indian of schayr. Which again, today it's much more complex. The business is very often, that chiluk of it is not run by the yid, it runs on its own. But al kolpanim, so there's a very big dagish. And the Isser Pragmatia, which is Sif Aleph, Taf Kuf Lamed Tes, which is buying and selling, afilu kolshu. Schayra, pragmatia, which the Gemara calls it pragmatia, the Shulchan Aruch calls it schayra. So that's a member of Rav. It's a member of Rav in the Gemara in Yudam Beis. But Rav pragmatia kol shu aser. So that's where Shulchan Aruch gets his name. That's schayra, to buy and sell schayra, to merchandise it. You buy and sell it to make a living. That's aser b'chol hamayit. Imlai, whatever hatayin we have, So that's machlokes Rishonim. So how to learn the Yerushalmi that shiara is a heter, shiara is not a heter. Halacha shiara is a heter. Fine. Umiidach. The question of buying and selling, meaning not merchandise, not a wholesale shipment that you sell and then resell as a wholesale shipment, but rather just buying and selling things. Whether you're buying and selling things l'tzarech your tzrachim, or even l'tzarech parnasa, but you're not being oisik in tzchayr, in merchandise. So that we have to be machalak l'chayr between the din of Rava and this din, because it's a whole bazar sugya. That's the mishnayis, and daf gimel and daf gimel base. Yud gimel and aleph is the din of lekicha, of kniyah. Ein loichim b'adam avadim behema el l'tzarech HaMoed, which means you need an animal to use, then it's mutter. You need a house to live in, it's mutter. L'chayr is refers in the Mishnah that shaloi l'tzarech HaMoed, or l'tzarech ha'poel she'em al yechal, is a bezunder isim. So you're not allowed to buy things shalot tzarech HaMoed. But I need a member of Rava. If it's v'tainu hach, and Rava is saying every pragmatia, as long as it's not the davar of it, it's not tzarech HaMoed pragmatia. You stop doing business. I mean, you're making money, but it's not tzarech HaMoed. So that's one din. And there's a bezunder din of the Mishnah Daf Yud Gimel Raf and Sa Yud Gimel Mebezel Gabi Mechira. Moichrei Peirus Ksus V'Kelim Moichrei B'Tzinel Tzarech HaMoed. So if you have a store and you're selling things, so you're only allowed to sell at Tzarech HaMoed. And we'll see this in Machlokes Rishonim how to learn the Mishnah. But the point is, obviously, the member of Rava has some kind of different chelak of the Isser Klali of Mekhamemker B'Chol HaMoed. Obviously, there's something that the Mishnayos are talking about, and what Rava is coming to be Moisif when he tells us there's an Isser Pragmatic Kolshu Kiloch a Chiddush of Rava. And Emes, that's really what Tavkuf Lametes is broken down to. The beginning of Tavkuf Lametes is all the Isser Pragmatic, being Oisik B'Schayers. Kol Schayra Afilu Kolshu Bein Likros Bein Linkar. And then all the different pratim, whether halva, whether receiving the schayra, selling the schayra. And then the end of Tavkuf Lametes is really the whole discussion of these mishnayos, how we pass in the gabe, opening your store, buying things, buying animals, shaloi tzarech lo tzarech HaMoed. So, and for that reason, the biggest raya that it's two separate sugyas is the fact that the Isser Pragmatia is a Isser Muchlab, Kapasik Vatani, Amar Rava, Pragmatic Kol Shu Aser. There's no Tzad Kula. Mash Ein Kain, in the Mishnayos, and Daf Yud Gimel, Amar Aleph, and Daf Yud Gimel Mebeis, so there, Matzinu, a big machlokes Rishonim, and it's not Klor B'chlal, this Isser of selling Shaloi L'Tzarech HaMoed and buying Shaloi L'Tzarech HaMoed. So, the mashmos is like this, that mitzad pragmatio, like Mechaber calls it schayra. So again, we'll have to maybe refine this, this Haggadah, but it sounds like schayra is merchandise. That means that you're buying things that are not shimushi for you. When you buy a shipload or a carton load or crate load of shoes, so these shoes are not being bought for anyone's shimush. They have a shame schayra. There's like a question by Tfilas Caleb. When you buy a lot of pots like that and they're being sold as schayra, it could be at that point they don't have a shame place huda b'chal. It's not for anyone's shemesh at this point. These things that they're fulfilling right now is making you some money. Then you buy them and you sell them at a profit. So that's the asik of schayra. Pragmati is the asik of schayra, merchandise. I'm buying merchandise and selling merchandise, but I'm not dealing with anyone. Meaning it sounds like wholesale, as opposed to a person who's on his own buying something, let's say even Shaloi L'Tzarech HaMoed, that's very different. That's not being Oisik and Schayra. A person goes to the store and he buys something that he doesn't need today, but he's going to need a week from now. So that's not Schayra. It's not Pragmatia. That's buying, that may be an Isser, but that's buying something Shaloi L'Tzarech HaMoed. Being Oisik my Tzrachim ultimately. So it's true. Certain Tzrachim you're not allowed to do on Chol HaMoed if they're not L'Tzarech HaMoed. Which ones? That's what we have to see. Certainly malachas, certainly mice, even a mice head, malachas gemuras. What about tircha? So we'll see. That's the current sugya. What about achana, making your bed? I think that's mutter. So we'll see about that. So what about buying and selling things? So it's a bezunder shayla. So if Rava was Moisef or Rava said a davar pashat that he knew that pragmatia is avad zichar aser, that does not memela mean that I can't go buy a pair of shoes which are not for moed, only tzarich lachar moed. The who hadin l'chayra, even selling something, even a person who has a store. Now, a person selling a store, it's obviously not just his tzrachim. I mean, he's selling things to make a living. But when a person, let's call it the gadol, a retail operation. So when he's selling things, what is he selling? He's selling people's tzrachim. So Vaikter, again, Bisman Chazal, it was probably much more karev to a private person selling, or if you're a Baal Chanus, the Maggid Mishnah points out there is an afkamina, someone who's umnase b'kach. But the point is, you're selling someone what they need, their needs. So it's a masu matan, it's a mekach memker. But it's the asik of buying things that you need. Let's talk about Shaloi L'Tzarech HaMoed, or selling things that people need. Shaloi L'Tzarech HaMoed. So these are two bezunder adinim, and they're two bezunder isurim. And that's why l'gabe the din pragmatia, it's a member of Rava. Afilu kolshu, if you're being asik in schayras. So like plug, even though kolshu sounds like even a small amount, and generally if you're asik in schayra, it's not small amounts, but it just means a low plug. Any amount, any tsura that's nechshav kischaira, so that's also b'chol. Mash enkin buying and selling, matzinu b'zeh, it's be'emes a big machlokes. So, where is this machlokes? So we also, like we saw in Tavkuf Lamites, that the Mishnah Kipshutai says that the isser of buying things, shaloi l'tzarech hamoed, is very limited. Ein loichem batim b'avodim b'behema el l'tzarech hamoed sounds like ein loichem batim b'avodim b'behema. What about everything else? So nechel kubazah rishonim. Tosfos says no, it's lav dafka. And we find an isser to buy dvarim sheish b'hem pirsum rav ba'av shemilsa tvei, like batim and avodim, things that have a big coat. It's lav dafka, these things are usher, says Tosfos. Be'emes it's usher to buy anything shalot tzarech hamoed, even socks, even shoes, anything that you're buying shalot tzarech hamoed, it's all usher. Tosfos mechiach that from HaMoed Beis. It says Tosfos just like on HaMoed Beis, it says you're not even allowed to sell peiros and ksus, the regular basic human needs. It's only the tzarech hamoed, the way Tosfos learns the Mishnah HaMoed Beis. So just like you're not allowed to sell things shalot tzarech hamoed, you're not allowed to buy things shalot tzarech hamoed. So why does the Mishnah point these things out? Says Tosfos. Everyone will see, like both Stadim and the Rishonim have a problem learning the Mishnah Kipshutos. It says Tosfos the pshat is it's a chiddush that I would have thought that batim, avodim, and behemoths, which are big piercing and optional tzvei, maybe it's also even l'tzoyrech hamoed. Kamashvul on the chiddush that these things, as long as there's tzarech hamoed, even if there's a grace of piercing, they're batim. But ultimately, the Tosfos, there is an isser across the board.
We matir malachas for tzarech hamoed.
Right.
So we're matiring the chiddushes, we're matiring pragmatio on tzarech hamoed.
Not pragmatio, I don't want to call pragmatio, let's just call it mechira, right?
Mechira that might be in Nisr Ksiva, might be in Nisr Tircha, I mean, malacha, mamish, we matir al tzarech hamoed v'ad. Hediot uman. So that's the chiddush according to Tosfos. That's something that's like...
Yeah, Avshar Milsa Tvei, right? That's what Tosfos points out. I mean, Tosfos says it, right? Perishers and who adin b'shar dvarim tzarech hamoed, the Asher the compares, El tzarech hamoed, El rebusa kamashman, da filu hani, havyin bifar hesia. Shari l'tzarech hamoed, meaning maybe there would have been a time again, and maybe it's Chazal says shara.
You could do malacha for hesia.
Malacha l'tzarech hamoed, you could
not
do
necessarily. It's sayadin vershos is always in bitzina l'tzarech hamoed.
That's Muslim kach, but stam a guy who's sewing up, not a professional, not somebody who's Muslim kach. Say nechanabi, somebody gets Muslim kach, and no, yeah, I'm sorry. He's talking about stam malacha. Or is this stam? If you want to sew a button, you don't have to do that bitzina. Head you, time for gedark, you don't have to do that bitzina. So you see, there's a chaymer that they would have. And again, maybe Chazal understood that we're talking about things that to buy a new house, a new behema. Maybe they understood that b'derech chal it's less of a tzorech. A person could be mistader without it. We're not talking about a homeless person in a chanabi, but in a chanabi, you ask me the question. What?
If the time of pragmatic also is like in the chol, it's zil zalmai.
Yeah, zil chashu tvei, zil zalmai in a chanabi. That's mitzad echad, and even okay.
It's dafka because it's unasir.
By
it's going in the other thing.
Okay, so that's Shittas HaTosfos. And Memela Tosfos says that Huadin, the Mechira on HaMoed Beis, that you have a fruit store, that you have to do, okay, Bismanedu, fruits might be different, but whatever the Mechir Ksus that had to do with Bitzina, says Tosfos, the Chiddush is that even Mechir Ksus and Peiros, which are Mamish Tzarech hamoed, has to be Bitzina. Sorry, it's the other way. Lafi Tosfos, there's a Tanai. L'tzarech hamoed kipshuta, like the Mishnah says. Moicher peiros ksus kein moicher mitzina l'tzarech hamoed, b'dafka l'tzarech hamoed. Anything you're selling, shalot tzarech hamoed is also. So Lafi Tosfos, he learns that the lav dafka is going to the revusa to tell us a chiddush that when it's l'tzarech hamoed, it's mutter. But l'maisa Lafi Tosfos, everything, it's all usher across the board. You're not allowed to buy or sell anything, shalot tzarech hamoed. So hagam that Lafi Tosfos, before you even say the Meg Mishra, hagam that Lafi Tosfos. It's very similar to the Isser Pragmatio, but B'chol Oifen, it's very different. We're still talking about a different Isser. It's an Isser Medina de Mishnayis, and it's Isser buying and selling, which is different than Rava's Chiddush, that Pragmatio, Schoira, is also B'chol Oifen, and we'll see the Nafkaminas. Comes the Magid Mishnah, and this is just the bigger raya that Pragmatio is a different Sugya. Says the Magid Mishnah, no. The Mishnah is Kipshuta. Ein Lochem Batim Avadim Behema means only Dvarim She Yishben Pirsum Rav. These things are also to be like Keach, Shalot Tzarech hamoed. Other things, says the Magid Mishnah, you're allowed to go shopping stam. Meaning if you want to, if you're the Magid Mishnah, you want to go to the mall, you want to go shopping, even Shalot Tzarech hamoed, as long as you're not buying, don't go to a pet store, and don't, I'm not sure what kind of behemoths you're talking about, and Batim V'avadim. So everything else, says the Magid Mishnah, what are we talking about already? Mekach Memker B'chlal, it's Xeris Chazal, even on Shabbos Yontif, it's not such an Isser Chamer. So, Lo Echmiru. On HaMoed, it's Takamutter. In Fakir, this Mishnah is a Raya L'Kula. It's only by Dvarim Shapir Sam Rab, B'chol, Avshim Milsa Tvei. That's Mitzad Kniya. Taisus says a right from the base Mechira, says the Mag Mishnah no. Taisus learned that Mishnah wrong also. Mechira is also Mutter Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. A guy who's Mechir Ksus Peiros V'chulei, if you have a store selling people's common daily needs, not sleiras, not wholesales, it's Mutter Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. The Mishnah says L'Tzarech HaMoed, so the Mag Mishnah learns the Lav Dafkas Fakir. Even things that are Tzarech HaMoed has to be B'tzina. Why? Because I'm Nasim B'kach. Meaning the Mag Mishnah is masking. In both Mishnayos, there are exceptions, meaning he's just being mitzamsing this din. And it's l'chara al derech pragmatia. K'moishe motzinu, that is an isser pragmatia, filu kol shu, that's a guy who's oiskin schayra, not selling people their needs, but buying wholesale, sounds like selling wholesale, selling schayras. That's asr b'chol oifin, says the Mag Mishnah, when you're not being oiskin schayra, rather you're selling people shoes and pots and pans and clothing. That's not schayra, that's not the schayra that Chazal asr across the board. Al zen ne'amar, it's be'etzem mutter. Just what? We're mitzamtzim that heter. Meaning, what's the point? It's mutter because says Mag Mishnah, why should it be elser? We're talking about Chol HaMoed. These are things that even on Shabbos and Yontif, it's a chumra yasera, not chumra yasera. It's also medina on Shabbos and Yontif, but it's a chumra. It's a miderabana. They yichmiru Shabbat yichtoi zilzal Shabbos. It's like during Chol HaMoed, lamitzinu they aser. So Narvas, there's a Tanai. If you have a store, that's mamish derech chol. That's umnasa b'kach kol hashana. That's mamish going to be a zilzal to the moed. So then close one door, do a bit.
That's not pragmatic.
That's not pragmatic. Let's just call it to simplify wholesale and retail. Wholesale is meaning you're selling huge shares. You deal in huge amounts, and the toilis of what you're selling is not people's needs. You're selling merchandise. You sell to stores. If you saw the Eli Rabbah Betzim makes
retail is the store itself.
Yeah, retail means that you come to me and you say, I need a pair of shoes. I sell you a pair of shoes. So that Zok Mag Mishnah of Etzim is Mutter Yiv Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Just what? If you have a store, and it's a big zilzal HaMoed to have a store, so close one door. But once you close that door, once you're not dealing with the problem of a store, it's Mutter Yiv Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. V'hu hadin by buying. In a Chanam, we find somebody's room. What's the big deal of buying a behema and a bais? That's also, it's a little bit more Ke'en the problem of pragmatia. It's not pragmatia, but it's Ke'en the problem of pragmatia. What's the problem of pragmatia? Avshir milsa, derech chol, derech tzir, zilzal HaMoed. So if you're buying a house, a huge ASIC, it's a huge deal. So that's Avshir milsa tvei, that's what's also. But to buy stam things, shalot tzarech HaMoed, no problem at all.
So you're going to lose share on buying and selling, on retail?
What do you mean lose share? Meaning, you're
the head of share was said by sorry, would apply also, meaning it was said by wholesale.
Again, so if
you don't need share of every
the Mag Mishnah doesn't need it. The Mag Mishnah doesn't stop with
but
it.
you have to do a b'tzina, so it's not going to help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Exactly, I think for Karen. The b'tzina was, just don't do it b'farasya, do it b'tzina. And the isser to be kind of...
like stores who make retail and say, now you can come buy from us on same money.
Again, that's not... If you Mag Mishnah could be it's not mutter.
But it's not much because you're doing the b'farasya.
Again, that's an issue you have to deal with. Exactly.
It doesn't help that it's going to be like share.
Everyone's asking as well.
Yeah. I mean, Shulchan Aruch No, that's Kol Schor Asura Afilu Kol Shu. What I'm saying is the Mag Mishnah is masking. So I don't know what it means Kol Shu. I don't know what the Tzura Kol Shu. But Chor is some kind of a Tzura of a wholesale of a merchandise type of a merchant.
It has to be 2 dinim or else.
Yeah, Chor, it's a Mishnah, it's a member of the Rav, and this is a Machlok Tushanim, this is a Dvarim Shutim. So Chor, it's 2 dinim. So now it's now, so it comes out, that really the Maggid Mishnah and Tosfos are arguing about 2 things. Because there's 2 Mishnayos, there's 2 separate dinim. Buying Shalot Tzarech HaMoed and selling Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Tosfos holds both are Aser. Whether to buy whatever pair of shoes you have, whatever you need, Shalot Tzarech HaMoed is Aser. That's the first Mishnah you're given. And selling Shalot Tzarech HaMoed, Tosfos holds is Aser. And on base, the Maggid Mishnah is Chaluk on both. The Maggid Mishnah holds that Sai buying is mutter, except for a few specific things. And selling, the Maggid Mishnah is also chaylik. Selling Be'etzim comes out if you even a bigger kula. If you're allowed to sell, it sounds like you're allowed to sell anything, just not in a chanus. The problem is don't do it in a chanus. That's the double machlokes.
Yeah, the whole problem is with Shemilsa.
Right, exactly. In cases that are Av Shemilsa. And the emphasis, Tosfos has marked that also, like we saw. Tosfos holds everything's Aser. But Tosfos does agree that Chanus has a certain chaymer. That's why Tosfos says a Chanus has to be Vitzina. Tosfos is Mesopik. What about an Omer Aleph? When you're buying something L'Tzarech HaMoed, does that also have to be Vitzina? It says Tosfos on Mesopik. What's the suffix? It's all the same thing with Tosfos. You're buying and selling L'Tzarech HaMoed. Terry says, no, Chanus has a Bezundera Av Shemilsa Tvei, and that's why it's more Aser. There isn't a chaymer of Chanus L'Fi Tosfos, but that's not the issue. The issue is buying and selling L'Tzarech HaMoed, they're both Aser. The Maggid Mishnah holds and they're both money.
Where do you see the split in Mechira and
I'm just saying it's two Mishnayos. I don't know if they're necessarily Hava Hatalia. Misvar, and I'm saying you see from Taisus. Taisus is not sure. Taisus says, well, not necessarily selling buying, but Chanus. Chanus, Taisus says, has a special chaymer, which buying something stam might not have that chaymer.
from the second half of Taisus?
Yeah, but that's not necessarily enough to be buying and selling. Now, Misvara Hayamakam Ladun Lachalik between buying and selling. But Taisus is not Lachalik. What's the Svara Lachalik? Buying something Shalot Tzarech HaMoed is called Kulei Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Why are you buying it now? Buy it Lachar HaMoed. It's not a Davar Rabbi. So it's more of a zilzal as opposed to Mechira. What's the mile of Mechira Shalot Tzarech HaMoed? When someone sells something, so something very interesting happens. He makes money. So that's a tzarech. That's a tzarech koldu. There's some Inyan that I'm getting a ta'elas today. When I buy something Shalot Tzarech HaYom, that means I buy something and I put it away in the closet and I'm saving it for later. So why buying it today? Buy it in a week. I mean, you acquired something, you totally didn't need it. So why are you doing it now? It's not a Davar Rabbi. So Hayamakum Ladun, that it's a bigger chiddush to buy something Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. What's that?
All the options instead of HaMoed, you had free time now. That's what time.
Okay, and that's why the emes, right? That's why the emes is tzasir. Selling Shalot Tzarech HaMoed, what Taisus is machmer, even selling Shalot Tzarech HaMoed is even a bigger chiddush to be machmer, because selling, aside from the fact that it's just Mekach Memker, like the Maggid Mishnah points out, like what's the big deal? It's just Mekach Memker. Also, when you sell something, you're making a living, or even if you're not making a living, you're making money. So there you have a to'elas miyadi. When a person sells something, the sale is his to'elas. The buyer, we have to look, what are you using it for now? Are you using it for tomorrow? But the seller gets to'elas right away. He made a sale. Whatever he's making that sale for. So now, what is halacha l'maisa gabi this shed? Let's talk first Maggid Mishnah and Taisus. So the Mishnah Brura, when you learn the halacha and the Mishnah Brura and the Magen Avram, so they seem to pretty much like machavek the Maggid Mishnah, but the emes, it's mamish not the Varm True the Machaber. So the Machaber brings Taisus and brings Maggid Mishnah, brings both Tzadim in the base cases. So what happens in Shulchan Aruch? So Shulchan Aruch says, let's talk about Lekicha, Sifyud base, buying, Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Ein loichem batim v'avadim avadim behema elo Tzarech HaMoed. Elo Tzarech HaMoed cher she'en loyecha. Basically quotes the Mishnah Ketzurasa. So, what's the psak of the Machaber? It's not clear. And that's why, when the Ramah quotes the Maggid Mishnah, it says that the minig is like the Maggid Mishnah of the Kula. To buy things Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. The minig is to be makel, says the Ramah. So he doesn't say V'yesh Shaimin, he doesn't say Hagah, and he doesn't say V'yesh Cholkim. And the reason is because it's not first what the Machaber holds. We don't know what the Machaber holds. The Machaber is Seisim. The Machaber just quotes the Mishnah Ketzurasa. So if you quote the Mishnah Ketzurasa, he's at least a shtickle, leaving it open. And I don't recall there's no Klar Hachram basis. Maybe it could be a Klar Hachram basis. No Klar Hachram basis.
It doesn't talk about the second Mishnah.
What's that?
It doesn't bring the Mishnah on the next page.
That also, that's the earlier. That's if Yud and Yud Aleph. Yeah, both halachas are brought. But let's talk about this Mishnah, whether we paskin that the Isser to buy is dafka these things, or the Isser is really to buy anything. So the Machaber is Saisin. And on the steam of the Machaber, the Ramah says, V'dafka hani. The Isser is only these things. Batim avadim and behema, avadim behema. The Ika pirsa b'kniyasim avshavilsa, aval shar kelim, na haguli knoisen betzina. Yeah, the minig is to make like the Maggid Mishnah. So I don't even think it's accurate to call him Machlokes Machaber Ramah. I think the Machaber is Saisin, the Ramah is Mekel. Fine. So then Medina, that would be already a huge rebach. You can go shopping, you can go to the mall, you can go buy whatever you need to buy, as long as it's not batim, avadim, and behemoths. And it's mutter Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Oh, so this is Nachashayla. The Maggid Mishnah, the Ramah, not the Maggid Mishnah, the Ramah adds B'tzina, but L'chayr, if you look inside the Maggid Mishnah, the whole issue of B'tzina is not Klavi the Kohen, it's Klavi the Meicher. Because the whole din of B'tzina comes from your Gimel and Beis, that a guy can't open his store because it's from Nasim B'kach. So Memela and Chanami, he's just saying the minig. So the minig is when you went and bought from a Yid, something you don't need the Tzarech HaMoed, which means it's not Tavlin, it means you were a Meicher Tzus, it had to be B'tzina. Shtetzach had to be B'tzina. Well, if you're going to a guy who's allowed to open his store before Hesia because he's a guy, so then there would be no Isser of L'chayr, that Tzina here is only a guy with the Meicher, not a guy with the Kohen. The minig was obviously not to buy before Hesia because Yidden were being kind of the Yidden Shulchan Aruch not to open their stores before Hesia. So the Ramaz Meiko comes the Magen Avram.
Why is the mortgage Shamil so sorry?
What, before Hesia? Or these things?
No, that's Moicher versus Kohen. As much as he's allowed to sell.
Why do you say, who's saying the Moicher is more optional? I'm not saying Moicher.
You just said that because I'm allowed to buy.
No, stop.
From a guard.
There's a din that a guy, the Maggid Mishnah explains like this. This is the Maggid Mishnah. In the Maggid Mishnah's world, there's no problem with the etzem buying and selling Shalot HaMoed. But if a guy who has a store and he says, Umnasai Bekach, he's the fruit salesman. So he's saying that's more derech pragmatic.
What is that?
Which is Pashas. That's a smart pshuta.
Then there's no ifsham.
No, but if I'm going to buy my apple because I want to go make apple pie for Chol HaMoed, that's no option. No problem being in a store.
To buy from a vendor, why should sell it? Because of Musa becomes.
So that's what I'm saying. It depends what you're buying. Shulchan Aruch does. We have a heter from the Mishnah. If you're a guy who sells things that are, it's muchrach, that is tzarech hamoed, it's mamish and daily things that you can do for Esya. But a regular store, a clothing store, if it's not smukach, it's option also. Looks like you're starting going to make
but
progress.
that second Mishnah, but not the Mishnah is asking these payers, no? Wasn't that second Mishnah?
Yeah, they're talking about pairs that are avidila skyim, so it looks like you're doing it for Yom and Rabin, whatever. So they make it. Okay. So the Magen Avraham says that he doesn't agree with this Ramah. He thinks maybe the Ramah didn't mean it. The Ramah said Nagu meant the minhag is, but it was Shaloi Kedin. Why is it Shaloi Kedin? Because of Siftes. Siftes is from the Rosh, the Ramban, is a halacha of buying yayin, which is buying something Shaloi Tzarech HaMoed. Not talking about a soicher, not talking about a gross merchant that's selling wholesale. And the halacha in Siftes is that you're only allowed to buy things Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. And it's going to be a davar of it. You're not going to find it. Then you're allowed to buy wine. Says the Magen Avraham, what's going on? Shulchan Aruch is over there, and the Rambam is not chaylik. You're not allowed to buy wine Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Unless you have a special heter. If davar of it, it's going to be more expensive. It's not going to be benimtza. It's a whole nice over there Siftes, like we spoke about. So you see Stima Siftes is based on Menor Yishonim, and no one says anything over there. So L'chayr Zakir Magen Avraham that means that really Avada we hold like Tosfos, and there's an Isser to buy Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. And what the Ramah means over here is it's a minhag, but it's a shvach minhag, it's Shaloi Kedin, and it can't be mekel. And that's the Goyen quotes. The Goyen quotes the whole Kemat on the derech of the Magen Avraham, and it's a steer to Siftes, and the Goyen himself also fears ice for Ein Lahakel, and that's what the Mishnah quotes. It shouldn't be mekel. Okay, so. We don't have any indication that the Magen Mishnah argues with Siftes. So and obviously Kipshuto, the Pshat and the Ramah, is not that he was saying Nagu Shaloi Kedin. It's a very mechudesh the Pshat and Magen Avraham. I'm surprised no one says anything over there. When Ramah says Nagu L'chnosim Mitzin, I'm saying I think most Ramahs, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of Ramahs, he says the minig. I don't think it ever means minig Shaloi Kedin. If he thought it was Shaloi Kedin, he'd probably say Shaloi Kedin or something like that. So it's a big doichak what the Magen Avraham saying in Cholifin. So we say that the Magen Avraham and the Goyen are machmir, the Mishnah is machmir. Well, the Maisa, how did the Ramah learn? Shuto the Ramah held that this is a heter, and the minig was okay. It was okay to be sent on heter. So what's with Siftes? Is Siftes a steer to the Magen Mishnah? So l'chayra, it's not a steer to the Magen Mishnah for a few possibilities. Firstly, we're talking about buying things. The Mishnah says l'fi the Magen Mishnah also. The Magen Mishnah has a Mishnah buying wine Shalot Tzarech Klashon. And there's a special heter there only for a davar of it.
8,000 barrels.
So asking
Right. Oh, very nice.
Because it's remoter according to Magen Mishnah.
That's the Magen Avraham tain, and that's why he's doichel halacha this Ramah. So l'chayr, that's what we're saying. We have things that are usher to buy. Even Magen Mishnah's masking behema, kalim. There's a girsa avanim, avadim, batim. So what's the pshat in the things that are usher? Because it's optional satvei. Because it's a big pirsum, and it's so I don't know what the Metzias was exactly, but like I said, there seemed to have been a thing called the Eis Habatzir, where wine became available, and if you didn't chop right then, you were in big trouble. So people were buying wine for the entire year, and we were talking in the days before cola and Sprite, this is what they drank. So we're talking about I don't know how much, but huge amounts. And it was probably a major Eis because everyone was lining up Eis Habatzir to get all their wine for the entire year. So maybe there's bakum to say that in a Hanami that would have a din like batim avadim avanim. Maybe batim avadim avanim wasn't exer sakasov. Anything that's mamish a huge amount and it's option milsatfei, even though it's for his personal needs. So what from the strict hagdaras of schayra the umas buying your tzrachim, this would be your tzrachim. But here maybe there was more makom lahachmir when you're buying mamish tias kol hasham. That's mitzarech. Mitzat sheni stamazay. There's another chumra over there. There's another nakud over there in that sif, and that is in Bavur and Shulchan Aruch that when you bought a lot of wine, you had to deal with the barrels. That was a big asik, and it sounds like people did that on their own, and they were matakin chavias. So obviously the tikkun chavias is mutter. And we discussed this l'sha'avar why exactly it's mutter, but It's l'kol ha'pachos mutter because once you buy wine and you have nothing to do with it, it's davravich. You're allowed to do any malacha, kol malacha tachas hashamish to save for davravich. Well, not tirchi seder, but so you're allowed to do malachas, but it's another reason lahachmir tfei. Since this was something that keseder, when you went and you bought a lot of wine, you had to do kol mine malachas gemuras asurais. So hagam that be'etzim would be mutter, but there we didn't matter the kniya melachatchila, which was going to be goyim malachas gemuras. Because the whole point of the Maggid Mishnah is that buying and selling thing is not a big deal. What is buying and selling? He says that's the Maggid Mishnah's point. Even on Shabbos and Yom Tov, it's not so chamer. It's also it's not so chamer. So if I have a Mishnah says the Maggid, I have a Mishnah says the Maggid Mishnah and tells me that's mashma that it's mutter. So I'll assume there's no Mishnah on Chol HaMoed. Say there. So dvarim she'afshim also tvei. It's something that the whole surah of buying it causes you to have to go now build barrels and do kol mini malachas asuras. So then you could hear. So the kashem kishal atzmai. It's interesting to say to have a tzad that the Ramah B'chal means that it's a minig shalei kedin. Usually when the Ramah says minig, it means the minig Yisrael and it's a kasher minig. Usually I think he only quotes b'derech klal kasher minagim. So that's mitzad echad and mitzad sheni. Mitzad the question from Siftes l'chayra shari terutzim lo ninal. So there we have kam chilukim. It could be that. What? Not Siftes. Siftes everyone's mad. I mean Siftes, no, again. Siftes says like this. If you want to buy wine for the whole year, and the same wine is going to be available in Matzah Yantak Aser, according to the Ramah, Sifi Beis, it should be mutter. So I'm explaining that. It's not a steer, because there you're buying, it's option also today, it's like buying a house, it's like buying, it's like a mashkanta, buying the wine for the whole year. That was what they lived on. Fine. So that's mitzad, the etzem kashas. But okay. L'chayra lahalacha, at least the Ikar din. So l'chayra m'chayiv to the Mekabel l'achras achreinim, and the Poiskim, the Magen Avram, the Goyim, the Mishnah Mekabel achreinim, the Chayodam, others, who are all at least machmir, at least machmir, I don't know if it's mamish medinim, at least machmir shaloi kedivrei HaMaggid Mishnah, and machmir l'gabi buying things, and it has to be l'tzarech HaMoed. Now, we can't erase the Maggid Mishnah. A Maggid Mishnah that the Ramah quotes halacha, we can't erase. So like the mashal, if someone would go shopping, shaloi l'tzarech HaMoed. If you'd be buying things, he's going shopping, that's some shaloi l'tzarech HaMoed. And let's say you don't have a heter of davar aved, you don't have a heter of the sales, whatever it is. He just wants to go shopping, he enjoys shopping, and like we discussed, maybe enjoying shopping, kishal atzma is a heter, because you enjoy shopping just like you enjoy fishing, maybe that would be a heter. Let's say even without all of that, when a person is buying dvarim haru'uyim l'chol HaMoed, he's buying clothing or shoes or something that he could, or pots and pans, something you could use in Chol HaMoed, and even if he doesn't use them on Chol HaMoed, so even bazel there would be makom lodem, that something that you could use. Obviously, if you go and use it, if you buy a shirt and you put on the shirt for a little bit, that's for sure mutter because you're wearing it. Even if it's harama, that should be stated. You bought it, and you used it on Chol HaMoed. But even if you didn't use it, so then yesh lodem mitzad what we saw Lagabe in Tav Kuf and Gimel, Lagabe catching a lot of fish. That each one is roy. So the Magen Avram there says the reason that you're allowed to go catch 50 fish, even though you only need one on Chol HaMoed, is because one might be better than the next. So as long as you're buying all kinds of different things, this pot, that pot, this shirt, that shirt, all kinds of dvarim haru'uyim. So what I'm saying is the iser muchlat of buying things shalot tzarech HaMoed, the chayr means things that it's not the derech to use them at least on Chol HaMoed. Everything can theoretically have a use on Chol HaMoed. It's not the derech, they're not ro'i be'etzim, but something that's ro'i be'etzim like clothing and kalim and different things like that. The chayr there would be makom gadol ladon that we could kolshkeit if we can mitzaref the Maggid Mishnah to be
I don't know. Didn't we mention that part of that heter of Re'uyim was because it was food, you still have Hayim?
Yeah, Hayim is not a din in food.
Clothing?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden I'll have 50 guests who need my shirt?
Yeah. I'm saying be'etzem it implies. I might use it, you might eat it, someone might eat it, yeah. And befrat, I'm saying Hayim is a din to take off Isser Malacha. That's because we're talking over there about fishing. Malacha Gemurah, Seder, Deraisa. Here we're talking about Chememker, so I think that the Maggid Mishnah holds the mutter b'chlal. So I think it's something to keep in mind.
What are we gaining with this? Either we go with the Maggid Mishnah or we don't. What are we gaining with the fact that it's really to be used?
I'm just saying it's another tzir. I'm saying even if you'd be machmir, that's
Hayil?
Yeah, it's hayil or like the heter of tzeitas dagim. It's harama, whatever the heter that Magen Avram is. Magen Avram says you're allowed to take 50 fish because each fish might be better than the other. So if you buy different types of clothing, different types of kalim, you could use them, and you're going to use some of them, or even if you have other pots, but you might use these pots. Feed the Magen Avram.
What's that? Is each one better?
Yeah, I'm saying assuming people don't usually buy a lot of the same thing. They buy all kinds of different things, different clothing, let's say. So you're really going shopping Shalot Tzarech HaMoed, but you could wear them. That's a mitzvah. You could wear them.
Right to wear, and I might like that.
Right? And again, you have to realize, I'm taking a Magen Avraham who's talking about matering Melacha D'Oraisa to apply to that Chememker. So...
And Hoyle something because it makes it a trade Rabbanan?
I'm not making a trade Rabbanan, I'm just saying...
Hoyle on Yantu makes it D'Oraisa into Rabbanan.
Right, so you have the Magen Avraham matter the fish. So he matered with haram. It's a combination between the Hoyle and haram. Haram means, I might really use this. So when a person buys the sweater, he shouldn't say, this sweater is for Achabar.
It's just more calm.
Yeah.
He's eating one.
I'm saying it's not cool. The haram is mutter. It's a halach in Shulchan Aruch. You're allowed to catch 100 fish, kol mashe efshir. It means you're allowed to go catch theoretically 1,000 fish on Chol Moed. Malacha gemura.
Are
Fish.
you eating one?
What?
Are you eating one?
Yeah, punct you'll be eating one because you need to be tired. I'm not even sure, but I'm not even sure if you have to eat one as long as it's right. As long as it's right. Because over there, the question is.
them. You didn't keep. You salted all of them.
Where?
Over
Like
there,
the fish case, it doesn't say you ate them. You salted them.
Yeah,
You washed them off.
yeah. Because they were right. Because they were right. Okay. Okay, but nafsil in Yadenu. I just want to point out a chiluk, and that is like this: that even if we're makabel the chomer of the achronim, and we say that lagabe buying things, shalot tzarech hamoed, you have to be machmer, and l'chayra be'emes lahalachot, you have to be machmer. You can't buy things shalot tzarech hamoed. Again, we're speaking about different study kula, like we spoke about l'sha'avar. If it's a shtickle davar aved, you're not going to have an opportunity to buy it after the moed, and if it's a davar haroy, it's here from my commission, they would be makam ladam kol mikra l'gufay. But even if we're makabel lahachmer lagabe kniyas lagabe mechira shalot tzarech hamoed. Meaning, and this is the get ready to the chelik of pragmati, a person has a store and he's selling things shalot tzarech hamoed. So there l'chayra, there's matzinu, a bigger pesach lahakel, like the Magen Mishnah would like a taisus. Meaning a taisus is mavur that you're not allowed to sell things shalot tzarech hamoed. And beyond the isser of a chanut, you're still not allowed to sell things shalot tzarech hamoed. Like taisus brings right, just like you're not allowed to sell pear shalot tzarech hamoed, you're not allowed to buy things shalot tzarech hamoed. Chanos is a different problem, which Taisus agrees is a different problem of Av Shemilsa and Derech Nasa. So, what is the din lagabe mechira? So then we have machaber about that also. And that's Sif Yud Yudal. Moichrei tavlin v'chol davar shenim skayim. You can sell kedarka. Sif Yudal. Moichrei peir suksus akelu. Moichrei b'tzina l'tzarech hamoed. And he explains what tzina is. So kipshutai, it's only l'tzarech hamoed. But again, it's really just the lashon of the Mishnah. This same lashon is what Taisus says has to be l'tzarech hamoed. It's the same lashon that the Magen Mishnah holds. Is no. Moichrei b'tzina l'tzarech hamoed means even if it's l'tzarech hamoed, it has to be b'tzina. But once it's b'tzina, once you don't have the problem of chanut, the Magen Mishnah holds you could sell kedarka. So it's awesome. It doesn't say over here which way. Just like the mechaber be'etzem by buying, doesn't really say. He just quotes the lashon Mishnah both places. The Ramah quotes the Magen Mishnah in Sifid Beis, and Sifid Av doesn't say anything. So, if there is be'emes a svara that mechira is more kal than buying, because buying is really shalot tzarech hamoed b'chal. You have to know what are you buying for. You're going to put it in your closet for later. So what has it yet? Hashem ain't selling, you're making money. So l'chayr there would be a svara ba'alma, and l'chayr it's just a svara ba'alma to be mechalik that even if we paskin l'chumra lagabe buying shalot tzarech hamoed, maybe selling shalot tzarech hamoed would be more kal. The svara is that when you sell something shalot tzarech hamoed, the seller has a te'elet miyadit, which is he's making money. He obviously wants to sell it, he wants to make some money. So he sold it and made money. So that te'eles is more kal, makes the whole mechira less of a zilzal, less of a hesian, less of a shter to the moed. What's that? It's kaviyachol tzarech hamoed. Yeah, kaviyachol tzarech hamoed. Yes, exactly. It's ke'ena tzarech hamoed. It's closer to tzarech hamoed. I'm selling something because I want to sell it right now. When you buy something not to use right now, what you're doing now is totally not for right now. It's for later. It's for a few days. Okay, let me just point out the chiluk. That's the chiluk. Yesh makom l'chalak b'svar. Now the ma'aseh says in Sif Hey, there's a din that the chayner and the skashim lo'edu. In Sif Hey is after we're learning about the Issa Pragmatia, and you're not allowed to have Pragmatia, Schleyer, or Koldu, you're not allowed to buy and sell merchandise. Unless you have a special heter of Shiara, that you have a lucrative opportunity, they came along with the big boat, and you have a chance to sell expensive, buy cheap, right? Zok the Ramon Sif Hey, V'tager shekoinu mizel moicher lozeh v'choyzer v'koinu moicher sounds like someone who's not dealing in wholesale, but rather just buying and selling quickly. Whatever comes to his hand, he right away sells, right away buys. Mutter. The heavy davar of it. A tager is allowed to buy and sell on Chol Moed. That's mutter, because that is a davar of it. You don't have all these rules about a shiara once in a while, the flea market, the yerid once a month, once a week. No, tager's mutter, it's davar of it. So, fractal the achrayim, why? I mean, again, we just like learned the whole isser called pragmatia, which means minias revach. Yes, you're going to lose some business. Too bad. Unless it's shiara, that's like mamish bittul to depseda. It's mamish a big hepsid. But lagabi this din, this ramo, tager shekodim zeh, it sounds like basically pragmatia. So what's the davar of it? What's the header? So this question bothered a lot of achreinim. Ubiroishim the Magen Avram. Where does the Magen Avram ask the question from? Sifyod and Sifyod Aleph. Says the Magen Avram, what are you telling me? You're telling me that anyone who buys things and then resells them is mutter? Well, don't we have a sif in Shulchan Aruch called Moichrei Peiros and Moichrei Ksus? And we're not talking about people who make their own clothing and make their own fruit, or grow their own fruit. We're talking about a regular guy who buys and sells fruit. You know, he had like the fruit store. And it says the fruit store is aser. So what are you telling me about a tager? I mean, every chenveni has the same thing. They buy and they sell. They buy and they sell. So the Mishnah Berurah quotes a big Yeshnamai Mordechai Eli Rabba, and each one.
Who is the kasha?
The kasha is from buying and selling. If you pass him like Tosfos, let's just say, you're not allowed to buy and sell, right? So why is the tager any different? Doesn't make any sense. That's my Gram's question. So all Achrayim are trying to find why the tzura of tagarus, if that's how you call it, is different. Because he doesn't have inventory and it's more nicker his hefsid, or he's more old to lose clients if he doesn't make sales. All kinds of svars in the Achrayim. Look in the Sharetzi and this halach, he quotes a few Achrayim. The Magen Avram says no, he has a more pashut teretz. He says in Chanami, a tager and a bal chanut are the same exact thing. They're buying and selling. And l'chayr state there, the buying and selling is not pragmatia. And it's like we said, it's taka not pragmatia, because pragmatia is chayr. Pragmatia is when you buy wholesale and you sell wholesale, you're dealing in merchandise, not dealing in people's tzrachim. But once you're buying and selling people's needs, things people need, that's already a bezonder din. Says the Magen Avraham, what's his answer? In a chanami. That which a tager is mutter, the hacha dafka bebeisai mutter. Avul b'chanus aser. Meaning, he's saying tager and chanus have the same din. Everything is aser in your chanut, but if you're not in your chanut, everything's mutter. This surah, buying and selling people's needs, even shalot tzarech HaMoed, is mutter, is aser in the chanut, but mutter out of the chanut. Ad kedei kach, that the Magen Avraham a few sefkatans later says, by the din of opening your store and selling. He says, let's say I've had to open my store, I sell tavlin in tzarech HaMoed, and along comes a guy and he wants to buy something. Am I allowed to sell to the guy? Well, Taisus L'chayr will say it's the government to sell to a guy. How can you sell to a guy? Says the Magen Avraham, it's mutter. Since you opened the store for the Yid, if the guy comes now, it's fine, you can sell to him. Pshat, talk to Gushay Srad. Because the Magen Avraham, after he says that halach, he's mitzayin to what he said in Sifei. He says, Ayin Soy Sifei, that's this din. Says the Gushay Srad, Pshat. Disham Mevur, in Soy Sifei, this is Hishtichel Torah by Chanos and Tab. Disham Mevur. The hamechira atzma ein iser, rak psichas achanos hu iser. Ulachein kan shepoiseach beheter muter limkar gam lenachri. There is no iser in selling things, says the Lushishah. It doesn't exist. The iser is making a big avshin milsa of opening your store, which is derech nasim bekach, like the Maggid Mishnah says. So you're opening your store, you're selling things. So that's what's iser. But if you have to just get away around that. There's a lot of ways to get around that. First of all, I'm opening my store for Yidden. Fine. Or I'm opening my store on the Tzidei Rishus HaRabim, or to the Chveisvas, to the Mavui, not to the Rishus HaRabim. That Shulchan Aruch says, no problem, Psichas Chanas. If you can get the store open beheter, then you can sell Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Now, this halacha of emes is brought in the Mishnah Berurah and brought the halacha of Kol Poskim. I don't think it has any chaylik. It's a pellet. The chaylik, this is the Maggid Mishnah, right? What are we saying? The Magen Avraham got stuck on a shver kol boy, so he's like, there's a heter here, you can sell things. I don't understand this heter, buying and selling. It must be really all buying and selling is mutter. It's only a problem in the chanut. That's the Maggid Mishnah. So that's the Maggid Mishnah shita that you're allowed to buy and sell. Shaloi l'tzarech HaMoed. And there's only a problem with chanut. Take care of the problem with chanut, hakol mutter. But the Magen Avraham himself, who is the Baal Shita, who's doicha the Maggid Mishnah me'alacha, and he holds you're not allowed to buy and sell Shaloi l'tzarech HaMoed. So very nice, I'm going to take care of my problem that I found the hichtips on top of my store for the Yidden. But how do I sell to the guy? When the guy comes, that transaction is a transaction that's karach be'isr derabanan of buying and selling Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. So first of all, what's the pshat of Magen Avraham minei ubei? And Ubi Yoiser, and this be'emes I don't really have an answer for it, that l'chayra lefi the Mishnah Brura, if you don't accept the Maggid Mishnah, so l'chayra there should be, the heter to a guy is tzarachin. So the emes is, there may be other heterim for the guy. Could be allowed to sell to a guy because of Eva or some other kinds of heterim, so it could be, when the Achreinim quote the Maggid Avraham, it could be lav mitami. But the time of the Maggid Avraham is very clear, because he's mitzayin to his own shita, kana. So, l'chayra haya makam l'chalik in the Maggid Avraham. Shot in the Maggid Avraham. That even though we're machmer lagabe buying, you can't buy shalot tzarech hamayit. He's doichel Maggid Mishnah mi'alacha, right? But lagabe selling, it sounds like one could have been machalik. Lagabe selling, it's better. And that's what he's saying. You're selling moichrei peiros, moichrei. That's just a problem with the store. So it's, that imkain would be a big chiddush. It's a pshara because the Maggid Mishnah is mekel by both and Tosfos is machmer by both. So to say that we're passing a pshara would be a very big chiddush. That's aleph. Why this answer is an epis shver. Aber b'yoyser.
Also, the Maggid Avraham throws in loichen v'chayzer and klapid also.
Yeah.
So it's not just that they're selling there.
Right. Okay. It sounds like buying and selling. You're saying,
yeah.
Right? Well, b'yoyser, but there's a more basic problem. It's l'chayr. We're saying pshat in this kolba. We're saying pshat in the Ramah. L'chayr the pshat cannot be. It can't be that there's no is like the Maggid Mishnah. Because look at the Ramah. The Ramah says. It's mutter the heavy davar ha'avik. He talks about buying and selling in the same sense. That's what the Kol Boy says. He says you're allowed to buy, sell. This Tiger guy, because it's a davar ha'avik. So if you the Maggid Mishnah, it's not a davar ha'avik. It's just mutter. You don't need a davar ha'avik. And ubifrat, like we're saying, l'chayr to be machalik between mechira and kaniya in the Maggid Avraham is very shver. And he was doichel Maggid Mishnah me'alacha. So l'chayr it leaves us with a big tzarachin. My high, what is going on over here? So l'chayr the vart is azay, we'll be signed with that. Like we were machalik, there's a big nafkamina between schayra and stam ekachomem. Schayra means you're being oisik in schayra, you're buying merchandise and selling merchandise. But like we pointed out, berega that you're not buying and selling merchandise, rather you're buying and selling people's tzrachim. Let's call it like a retail type of a sale. So then you're out of Rav Sugya of Pragmati Aser, and you're into a different shiloh, which is how to learn these two Mishnayos, Daf Gimel Av on base, and how to learn these few sefim. Basically, Maggid Mishnah of Umas Shitas and Tosfos. So what the Ramah is saying is like this: in Sif Hey, we're talking about the Isser Schayr. In the whole Machaber is talking about the Isser Schayr. So you're not allowed to sell merchandise unless you have a special heter of Shiara. What's the heter of Shiara? If you have a lucrative deal, it's Davar Avid. Meaning, a very lucrative deal. Shiara comes along once in a month, whatever the Shiar is, and you have an opportunity to make a huge deal, that will matter even the Isser Schayra HaChamura. The Isser Schayra of Mamish Omar Rava Afilu Kol Shu Aser. It's Mamish Pragmati, Mamish Zil Zlamoy, Mutter if it's a real Davar Avid. Says the Kol Boy, but a guy who's just buying and selling, so he says like this: I don't hold like the Maggid Mishnah. Maggid Mishnah holds Stam buying and selling is Mutter. You're allowed to buy and sell Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Stam is a Mutter. Ichal, that's not Mutter. So Stam a guy wants to sell something Shalot Tzarech HaMoed? No, you can't do it. You want to go to the store and buy something Shalot Tzarech HaMoed? You can't do it. But for a Tagar, what's a Tagar's ASIC? He's making a living. For a Tagar, that this is his business, he's going out to make a living, to be marviach money, so he has to buy and sell to make money. Which Isser is he being over on already, says the Kol Boy? He's not being over on Pragmatia. For Pragmatia, which is Schayra Gemura, buying and selling merchandise, that's the Isser Chomer that Rava says, Chazal Aser and Gansin. For that you need a Mamish Davar of it. It has to be Shiara once in a month and a Mamish thing. Says the Kol Boy, a Svara, but for a Tagar, Lo Matzinu. A Tagar has his job, he's got to make a living, right? So you're right, it's the same Manias Revach as the Pragmatia, but it's not, what's he doing already? Meaning here's up to Kol Boy, I'll accept the Svara of the Maggid Mishnah. Which Isser are we talking about already? Mekach Memker? Some say there. I'm asking, not like the Maggid Mishnah. Mekach Memker is Epis Isser. You can't stand by and sell Shalot Tzarech HaMoed. Maggid Mishnah holds you could. Then I'm passing like the Maggid Mishnah. Let's keep that in mind. But even if you answer that, that's only because Stam. Why are you buying Shalot Tzarech HaMoed? Why are you selling Shalot Tzarech HaMoed? But I'll tell you why. Because I'm a Tagar. This is my Parnasa. Even though it's not an emes of Davar Avid, you don't need a Davar Avid. Klape being a Tagar, it's not a Davar Avid. That's enough. It's a Davar Avid. Klape, what your Tzairich is, what Isser are you violating already? So basically what the Kol Boy is saying is a very positive thing. That it's Talui in the Chaymer of the Isser, L'umas what we're coming to Mimater. So if you're being over an Isser Schayra Mamish of Salsra, that there's a Kapasik Batani Asr Gamar, even Kolshu, then the only heter is the regular bona fide, regular classical Davar Avid. You're Mamish lose. Mashenkin, if you're just a tiger, you're just doing that klemker. So if you're stam a pasha the guy, you want to sell something, don't do it. But if you have epis a good reason, so this gets back to many different dugmos we already saw throughout Hilchos HaMoed, various different mefanim where it's not mamish a davar aved, but Chazal and the Rishonim befrat use the svar of davar aved to really describe something that's a big tzarech, and it's a tzarech chiyuni, and it's something that's hard to do without. And they use that to turn things into what they call davar aved. We had a common dugmos lakach in Besargim Slamitas, Rechiva, Chule. So that's what the Kolba is saying. So the whole Sifhei is saying Schayr who is also you need a real shiara. Says the Kolba when I have a svar by a tager who's not being goyiskin Schayr. That's a davar aved. I mean, he has a very good reason. He has to go to work. He has to make money, right? Well, if he's there, it would be a big nafkamina for people who are involved in this type of retail sale, let's call it, where you're buying and selling people's tzrachim. So b'chiyah gavna, it's not an asik from schayra. Again, where exactly the drill line we'll have to know, but it's not the regular schayra of buying shipments and selling shipments of merchandise. It's a question of buying and selling people's tzrachim. So even if we're not makabel the dina, the what's it called of the kula of the Maggid Mishnah, which Nerma again quotes, that will be machmer b'chiyah gavna. But for someone who has a store and his asik is selling people their tzrachim, even shalot tzarech HaMoed, meaning let's say he has a store in a place where it's goyim and it's shalot tzarech HaMoed, as long as you can get past the isser of opening the store, says the Magen Avram, so then there's no isser left. Why not? It's isser mechir shalot tzarech HaMoed. The Teretz is davar aved. That's a davar aved. Where's the davar aved? Teretz is the davar aved is that it's a svar to allow a person to make a living. And Marviach is parnasa. We let him keep his store open. So that's and that without the Magen Mishnah, that seems to be Allah Chamais. Now the Mishnah Berurah is mafakir gun this Magen Avram also. So okay, we don't have time. We're out of time already. But what this avad goes in the cheshbon. If someone has a tzarech, an emes tzarech, even if it's not mamish a davar aved, to keep his store open, and he's selling a retail store. So if he's there, again, you have to deal with the avshim also. And the bachlal or berech from nisatei machal moed. But if he has such a store where he's selling people's tzarechim, l'chayr midina, it's mutter midina to sell such things machal moed. And befrat, like we spoke, that bismaneinu, the stores usually are functioning. You have goyish workers for you, and it's questions of mamir l'akum. So it's still the mark.
It sounds like they're always asking.